Did you ever look at your Sharpe ratio and thought, okay, great, but what does 0.8 Sharpe actually mean in real-world returns? If you ever wanted a clear percentage-based comparison of how your portfolio stacks up against the market adjusted for risk, then you'll probably love the M-squared ratio, also called the Modigliani-Modigliani. In this video, I'll help you to understand what M-squared is in plain language, learn how it's built on the Sharpe ratio, and use it to compare any strategy to a benchmark, side by side in percentages. So let's clear up the confusion and make these numbers work for you. The M-squared ratio is a risk-adjusted performance metric, just like Sharpe. But here is the key difference. M-squared takes the Sharpe ratio and converts it into a real-world return percentage, so you can directly compare it to a benchmark. And why does that matter? Because ratios like Sharpe are abstract. M-squared says, hey, if your portfolio had the same risks as the benchmark, here's how it would have performed. And this is super helpful when you want to compare high-risk and low-risk portfolios, or you want a clear performance gap between you and the market, or you want to compare different backtest results of your trading strategies. The M-squared ratio was developed by Franco Modigliani and his granddaughter Lea Modigliani in the late 1990s. They wanted to improve the Sharpe ratio by making it easier to understand, expressed in real return percentages, and comparable across any risk level. Basically, they wanted something that you could use without having to need a finance degree to interpret. So, thank you for that, Modiglianis. Here's the simple M-squared formula. M-squared is the Sharpe ratio times the standard deviation of a benchmark plus the risk-free rate. So instead of giving you a ratio, it gives you a hypothetical return, showing what your strategy would have earned if it had the same volatility as the benchmark. Let's break it down. The Sharpe ratio is your risk-adjusted return, and if you want to know more about it, then check out this video. The standard deviation of the benchmark is a measure of how volatile the market is. And the risk-free rate usually uses treasury bills to determine the percentages. So, I'll introduce you Bob and Alice again. Bob's portfolio has a Sharpe ratio of 0.8. His benchmark standard deviation is 15% and the risk-free rate is 4%. If I plug these numbers into the M-squared calculation, I get a return of 16%. So, Bob's M-squared is 16%. That means that if Bob's strategy had the same risk as the benchmark, it would have earned 16%. Now Alice's portfolio. She has a Sharpe ratio of 1.10. Alice uses the same benchmark and the same risk-free rate. Now add these numbers into the formula and we'll get a percentage of 20.5. So Alice's M-squared is 20.5, which is excellent. Even if her actual returns were lower in raw numbers, her risk-adjusted returns are clearly outperforming. This makes the M-squared a powerful level playing field tool. Here's how to read the M-squared. It's expressed as a percentage return, and it assumes that your risk is equal to the benchmark's risks. Now, the higher M-squared is the better risk-adjusted performance. And it answers questions like, if my portfolio was as risky as the S&P 500, how much would it have earned? In the end, M-squared lets you compare low volatility portfolios, leveraged or aggressive strategies, robo-advisors, ETFs, hedge funds, crypto YouTube strategy analysts, all on the same scale. No more guessing if a Sharpe of 0.9 is good. You just see the return, apples to apples. So to recap the information in this video, M-squared converts the Sharpe ratio into a real-world return percentage. It adjusts for risks and makes portfolio comparisons easy, and it is one of the most intuitive ways to measure your true performance. Now, if this gave you extra information and cleared up some confusion, then hit the like button and drop a comment with your Sharpe or M2 ratio. I've also written a book about algorithmic trading, and it contains a whole chapter on how to analyze your results and determine the best trading strategies for you. Now, if you want to know more about other investment ratios and how to use them, then check my playlist and watch out for the future videos in this series because I will make more. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!